Welcome to this December edition of the CSEE News, broadcast bi-monthly by PropTech Bulgaria. We report on latest figures in all major asset classes in 6 CEE countries. These are Bulgaria, Romania, Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary and Poland. Today, we will focus our attention on the office asset class in 5 out of 6 CEE countries, and we'll pay special attention to a number of reports. We start with the Avison Young report on first half of 2022 results for these 5 countries. Later on, we will talk about the data issued officially till the end of the third quarter, that is from January to September 2022. On the figure next to me, you see the data issued by Avison Young on Poland, Hungary, Romania, Czechia and Slovakia for the first half of 2022. Obviously, there is a total volume for these 5 countries of 5.4 billion euro during that period, which is a 30% year-over-year increase. It is good to see that the investment volume by sector for the first half of 2022 is as follows: 32% is for the retail asset class, 36% for office, 20% for the industrial, and we have very small fractions for residential and hotel. 9% is other. Due to strong Q1 activity, partially spilling over from last year, investment volumes for the first 3 quarters of 2022 totaled 7.5 billion euro. Year-end 2022 volumes could reach between 10 and 9 to 10 billion euro, reveals a report by Colliers. The office sector continued to hold on to the top spot with a 38% share of Q1 till Q3 2022 volumes. Logistics remains in high demand, but is held back by lack of products, that is availability of spots and supply which cannot meet the high demand. Retail saw the shares in 2 large portfolios change hands. Otherwise, Colliers still record a lot of interest for PRS living assets. However, they also remain short supply. With much higher mortgage rates and falling sales, Colliers see developers switching towards rental products. Next graph clearly exhibits the origin of investors that operate and who invest in the CEE region. Obviously, there are such countries as Austria with 12%, the USL with 11%, Scandinavia 5%, Belgium 5%, other West EU countries 3%, 2% for the UK. You have also 2% per Africa and Romania and Asia. In the case of Czechia and Hungary, we have very high activity of domestic investors. This is why 25% of investments are by Czechia and 16% by Hungary. CEE domestic capital has been the most active so far in 2022 with a 35% share of total volumes. Czech and Hungarian capital continue their drive with 19 and 10% of the total regional volume respectively. Capital from CEE combined was responsible for over 10% of volumes in Poland. Hungarian capital investing in Hungary was at 80% of its volumes and Czech capital was responsible for 56% in its own market. This was followed by North American 27% and European 22% capital, although in general we have recorded a slowdown or halt. Next, we will see very clearly the data for all 6 CEE countries. For the first half of 2022, we're doing this in order to be easier for you to compare the stats for each of the country with the others and to get a better idea. The investment transaction volume for Bulgaria for the first half of 2022 is 67 million. These are just the transactions, not all investments made in the country. 14% are office, 41% are retail, and 23% are industrial and logistics in the overall asset class available in Bulgaria per transactions, investment transactions. Next comes Czechia. The investment transaction volume for the first half of 2022 is 1.60 billion euro. 24% are office, 28% are retail, 17% industrial, 4% residential, 2% hotel. We go on further with Hungary. The investment transaction volume for H1 2022 is 690 million. 35.8% is office, 23% retail, 40% logistics, and 5% hotel. When it concerns Poland, the investment transaction volume for the first half of 2022 is 2.9 billion, with 44% office, 28% retail, and 24% industrial. And finally, we go on with Slovakia. The investment transaction volume for the same period is 620 million. 70% are office, 24% retail, and 6% industrial. Next, we will go further with more details on each of these 5 countries. We will have a separate video of Bulgaria and its results. We go on with Poland. The third quarter of 2022 completes the dynamic new supply period observed in the Polish office market in recent years. Between January and September 2022, developers delivered 39 new investments, which increased the sector's total stock by 560,100 square meters to over 12.7 million square meters of total office stock in Poland. Warsaw leading the list with more than 6,343,000 square meters, ahead of Kraków with 1.6 million, Wrocław with 1.3 million, and Tricity with a bit above than 1 million square meters. New supply in both Warsaw and the 8 largest regional office markets has slightly affected vacancy growth. Currently, more than 1.73 million square meters is available for immediate lease in Poland, equivalent to 13.7% of the sector's total stock. The total volume of lease transactions on the Polish office market at the end of Q3 2022 amounted to just over 1.06 million square meters. From January to September 2022, tenants in Warsaw signed contracts for more than 608,000 square meters, while in the regional office markets for about 456,400 square meters. At the end of Q3 2022, the office development pipeline in Poland's key regional cities was broadly unchanged over the quarter, with the stock under construction comprising approximately 580,000 up by 4% over the previous quarter, but down by close to 28% year over year. With banks tightening their lending criteria for new developments, the number of new office projects breaking ground in the regional markets has reduced. Similar to Warsaw, regional city office markets also experienced a decrease in occupier activity in Q3 2022. Total leasing transactions in the largest regional cities reached up to 106,300 square meters, which is down by close to 45% over the quarter and almost 6% compared to Q3 2021. Close to half of the office take-up came from the IT and business services sector, 25 and 23% respectively. Manufacturing came third, accounting for 11% of the total leasing volume. The first and second quarters of 2023 will be crucial for the office market. The indexation of rental rates may reach even 9% in Poland. In addition, an increase in operating costs is certain due to the update of utility rates and the new minimum wage rate. The unstable euro exchange rate is also a big challenge, and in most cases the rent is converted from euro to PLN. There will be a supply gap in the office market. In Warsaw, this will become most visible in 2023 and 2024. The recent period of turbulence and changes has limited the inflow of new investments. At the end of Q3 2022, only 160,000 square meters of space remained under construction on the Warsaw market. At the end of September 2022, the total office investment volume in Poland reached almost 1.8 billion euro, thus exceeding the sector's full year result from 2021. However, such a large volume was achieved mainly due to two spectacular Warsaw transactions, in addition to the largest transaction in history with a single office asset, the acquisition of the Warsaw hub by Google for 583 million euro. Warsaw market also saw the fourth largest transaction in history with a single office asset, Generation Park, while located at the Dąbrowskiego roundabout, which was bought by Hansa Invest for over 285 million euro. Next, we go to Romania. The office leasing market in Romania has recorded a fall of 18% in gross take-up in the first half of 2022 compared to the same period of last year. Although Bucharest has seen a slight increase, according to a report by real estate consultancy GLL Romania. Demand for offices in large cities outside Bucharest was dominated by IT companies that had a share of 60% of the leasing activity. In the first 3 quarters, the total demand for office space in Bucharest was around 200,000 square meters, similar to the same period of 2021. Net demand increased by 5% year on year to around 106,000 square meters. By the end of 2022, 2 more office buildings are to be delivered on the Bucharest market, totaling a leasable area of approximately 54,000 square meters, namely the second phase of One United Properties, One Cotroceni Park, with 34,500 square meters, and Skanska's Equilibrium 2 with 19,500 square meters. Since the beginning of the year until now, 30% of the total transactions in Bucharest have been represented by renegotiations with a total area of 72,522 square meters. For 2023, even fewer deliveries are expected than this year, around 70,000 square meters. The vacancy rate for office space in Bucharest increased slightly in Q3 from 12.75% in the previous quarter to 13% amid lower net demand. After an increase in Q2 from a monthly 18 0.5 euro per square meter to 19.5 euro per square meter. Prime rents were flat in Q3, although the persistent high inflation could generate further increases in the next quarters. Class A rents in regional cities vary between 14 and 15 euro per square meter in Cluj, 13.5 to 14.5 euro per square meter in Iași, 13 to 14 euro per square meter in Timișoara, and 12.5 up to 13.5 euro per square meter in Brasov. Total stock is close to 1 million square meters of modern office space in the 4 major regional cities, and pipeline remains consistent according to GLL's consultants. Next, we go on to Czechia. The office market is increasingly leaning toward the tenant side. Flexibility and sustainability play a major role. Demand for new office projects in attractive locations will continue to rise, up to 41% year-over-year in Prague in the first half of this year, while changes in the way offices are used towards a hybrid working model will lead to a greater interest in flexible offices. Quite a few new and attractive office buildings are expected to come to the Prague market in 2023. This, combined with slowing demand and the fact that almost no new companies are entering the Prague market, may lead to an increase in overall vacancy next year. It is currently around 8%, 8.5% in Class A offices and 8% in Class B offices. So even though new premium office space is no longer being offered below 14.50 up to 15 euro per square meter per month, the market is becoming a tenant's market in many locations. Particularly in Prague, the figures are as follows. Gross take-up increased by 40% year-over-year. The vacancy rate slightly decreased to 8.1%. 3 office buildings were completed in Q3 2022. Almost 191,300 square meters of office space was under construction by the end of Q3 2022. Net absorption was positive in the third quarter and reached 24,100 square meters. The prime rent has risen again to 26.50 euro per square meter per month. The total size of modern office stock in Prague reached 3.8 million square meters at the end of the third quarter of 2022. Most of the modern office supply, 74%, consists of Class A buildings with the highest quality AAA rated space at 651,500 square meters, accounting for more than 17% of the total office stock. Next, we move on to Hungary. In Q3 2022, the volume of new supply in Budapest's office market increased significantly compared to the previous quarter, marking the highest volume since Q2 2020, the Budapest Research Forum reports. The total modern office stock currently adds up to 4,175,670 square meters, consisting of 3.4 million square meters of Class A and B speculative office space, as well as 723,370 square meters of owner-occupied space. In the third quarter of 2022, 4 new office buildings were delivered to the Budapest office market with a total area of 82,420 square meters. The new owner-occupied Bosch Campus 2 building with a size of slightly over 17,000 square meters. Millennium Gardens with a size of 20,000 square meters. Budapest 1, 2 and 3 phase, which amount to 37,950 square meters, and Major Udvar with a size of 7,000 square meters. 3 buildings total size of 11,760 square meters have been moved to the owner-occupied stock. The office occupancy rate increased to 11%, representing a 1.1 PPS increase quarter on quarter and a 1.9 PPS increase year on year. The lowest vacancy was registered in Nov Buda with a 4.6% vacancy rate, whereas the highest vacancy rate remained in the periphery submarket, 36.3%. Net absorption has remained positive by the end of the third quarter, amounting to 27,210 square meters and reaching 105,030 square meters year to date. Total demand reached 101,430 square meters in Q3 2022, representing a 24% increase year on year. Lease renewals stood for the largest share of total leasing activity with 33%, followed by new leases in the existing stock with 23%, pre-leases in new developments reached 22%, expansion of existing premises reached 4%, while the share of own-occupied buildings was 17% of the total demand. The strongest occupational activity was recorded in the non-central Pest submarket, attracting 36% of the total demand. South Buda submarket reached second place with 29%, followed by the Vaci corridor 14% and Central Pest 10% submarkets. According to the Budapest Research Forum, 97 lease agreements were concluded in Q3 2022, and the average deal size amounted to 1,046 square meters, which is plus 39% quarter over quarter. The BRF registered 8 transactions concluded on more than 2,000 square meters of office space, including 3 new renewals, 2 new leases, 1 owner occupation and 2 pre-leases. The largest speculative transaction during the third quarter was a pre-lease for a total of 16,200 square meters in Baker Street, while the biggest lease renewal was signed for a total of 14,000 square meters in Arena Corner. The biggest new deal was concluded in Budapest city with a city size of 4,220 square meters. It's important to mention that there was a handover of an over-occupied building with a size of 17,130 square meters. And finally, lastly, we go on to Slovakia. After a minor slowdown in the summer, the situation regarding leasing activity was cleared up, and in many cases we witnessed restored demand. Therefore, take-up reached 38,800 square meters, representing a 53% quarter-over-quarter increase. In addition, net take-up figures stand at 32,400 square meters, with new leases accounting for more than 26,000 square meters. We expect the increased leasing activity to persist towards year-end. The vacancy rate rose mildly to 11.87%. In favor of vacancy was the completion of Lakeside Park 02, which brought fully leased space of 14,000 square meters. Altogether, development activity slowed down this year, as only about 3,500 square meters of leasable space will be added next quarter, bringing the year's total to 28,600 square meters. On the other hand, most of the projects will come on stream in 2023, representing 48% above the 5-year average. To cope with elevated energy input costs, landlords continued in increasing service charges. Less energy efficient buildings, mostly older B and C class buildings, were affected the most. Therefore, the competitive advantage will go to the higher end buildings with better energy efficiency. Still, many buildings have energy contracted only until the end of the year, exposing themselves to the risk of purchasing energy at spot prices. As a result of high costs combined with popularity gaining home offices, the trend of reducing space is even ever more visible on the market. Therefore, the usage of workplace and space optimization strategies is sought after. Prime rent and prime yield remained unchanged at €70 per square meter monthly and at 5% the prime yield. In the third quarter of the year, the office leasing volume in Bratislava increased by 40% quarter on quarter, but in a year-on-year comparison, the volume decreased by 12%, reports the Bratislava Research Forum. In Q3 2022, the total office stock in Bratislava reached 1.97 million square meters. 15% of the total stock consists of Class A plus office space, 39% of Class A, and 46% of Class B office space. In terms of the ownership structure, similarly to the previous quarter, approximately 4% of the office stock is state-owned, almost 12% are buildings owned and fully occupied by the same entity, and the total stock for commercial use remains at 84%, or around 1.66 million square meters of total modern office stock in Bratislava. In total, Bratislava offers almost 675,350 square meters of office space with a valid green sustainable building certificate. This is 34% of the total volume of office space in Bratislava. Currently, 39 out of 272 buildings meet the criteria. 60% of the certified stock has a BREEAM certificate. Almost 5% has a combination of BREEAM and WELL certificates, and 35% is LEED certified. Only the Twin City Tower has the highest BREEAM or outstanding rating, and in the case of LEED Platinum, the Digital Park building and Ein Park offices are the only current holders of such certificate. The overall vacancy rate in Bratislava slightly decreased compared to the previous quarter to 11.74%. These were our news for December for the CEE countries, and particularly for the office asset class. You can find our report on figures from the beginning of the year to Q3, end of Q3 2022, also on residential, industrial and logistics and retail asset classes for the region. So you can find the videos in our YouTube channel or on seeproptech.eu. Talk and see you soon.